This video for Basic Excel is going to be looking at simple formula. So formula is when you use cell-to-cell referencing, including operators in that, which would be plus, minus, divide and multiply, and also how brackets can change the outcome. So it's not functions, it's simple formula. I hope you enjoy.
Is there such a thing as formula and functions? So formula, when you use an equal sign, so you're typing in into the cell equal. When you put an equal sign in, it means you're doing a formula. And formulas mean that you're doing cell reference to cell reference. I'll just escape from that. So what it means in this one here, if we double click on this, you can open the cell up so you can see it. So put an equal sign in, and I'm timesing B3 by B2. So B2 times B3, and enter it in, and then you get the answer, and then you autofill across. So let's do that together. So we're using operators. These are your operators here. So if I'm doing equal B2, I can click on the cell or I can type it, times B3, enter the cell. There's my answer. If these weren't completed, then I go in there and I can autofill the little black cross all the way across to there. If that had a 6 in there, we added that in, and you can see how that automatically takes it on board. Take the 6 out, and you can see in there it's still got the formula, but it's not included the 6 until it goes in. So that's a nice quick way, so you do your formula in one cell and you autofill the rest. For example, if I did a sum in here, equals sum, double click, brought my sum up. If I wanted to sum those cells, I could highlight the range. Notice how up here or down here that it has a semicolon. Sorry, a colon in the middle, not a semicolon. Has a colon. The colon stands for everything in between. So if you were doing sheets, you would do a colon in the middle for every sheet in between one and the last one. In a range, you're doing the B2, everything in between to B10, and then finishing off the bracket and enter. If we did that in a sum with regard to operators, because that was a function, wasn't it, and not a formula, if we did that one plus that one plus, you can see how long formula takes. You would have to go on and on and on. So that's where functions come in. But if you're asked to do a formula, then you are only doing cell to cell, not a function. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So let's have a go at some of these formulas. Let's a little practice. So bring this up. We're going to look at this one down here. So we're going to complete these by following this. So in B16, that's where you're going to put your answer using formula. You type in equals to let it know that you're doing a formula. Add B5 and B6. So you click on B5, use an add formula function there, operator, and then click on B6 and enter. No brackets, just straightforward cell to cell. On the second one, we've got in B17, divide B6 by B5, so equal. So we're dividing B6 by B5. So B6 comes first. The operator is divide, and then it's B5, and enter. This one is multiply, so we just put the equal sign in. Multiply B6, so B6, use your above your 8 or on your number lock, your asterisk. And then we're going to do it by B5. And then we're going to add B3. You can see it up there and enter. You'll notice there's no brackets, but if we did as it says here, if we pop some brackets around the B5 and the B3, What it does, the difference is that it adds these together first and then times that whole number by B6. So when you enter that in, it's completely different to the previous. If I undo, you can see it's 6406 when you just times B6 and B5 and then add the B3 on the end, add the 6 on the end. But if you do it with regard to brackets, then it adds those together and then it's a bigger sum, so you get a different answer. So be aware that with brackets, BODMAS, it can make a difference to how something looks. And you can see that I've left that there for you to look at another date. Be aware as well of some of the check-in errors. So when you put in a formula or a function later, but if you put in a formula, you can get these errors, so just be aware of them. The divide by 0 means that you divide it by a 0, literally, so we can't really do anything with that. A hash ref is where it's the reference to that cell is no longer there. So you've referenced a cell in your formula or your function and somebody's come and maybe deleted it. So it's not applicable anymore. So reference to what? Name, it could be that doesn't recognize the way you've spelt the function if you're using a function. Null, 2 areas specified don't intersect. Value is when you can auto fill down and sometimes hit a label. Another one is the NA, it's not available, and the long hashes is that the cell isn't wide enough. Okay, so just be aware of some of those. Okay, moving on to some formula practice. Let's have a little go at this. So remember, we're going to do this. We'll work out the turnover in B4. So we click in the B4, type in a equal sign, and then we're going to multiply the price. So it could be a name of the cell rather than the 6, saying 6. And then we're going to use a multiply, remember our operators, and then we're going to times the sales and enter. And remember, you click in the corner, go to that little small black cross and drag and drop to J4. Okay, so we're going to do the second part now. So we're going to work out the difference, and there's the answer for the first one. The first instance we always call it. The rest is auto-filled. So there's our equal sign. We're going to subtract spending from profit. So profit comes first, minus spending, enter, and then drag and drop to J14. Okay, so that's, if you look now, if I do the control key below your shift key and the key just above, you put your thumb on the control key and tap the key above the tab key. It's like a little grave accent it's got 3 marks on it. You hold the control and keep tapping that grave accent above the tab key on your left hand side. You can see values and formula or functions that are going on behind the spreadsheet. So that's might be worth knowing. Just have a quick look.